Beloved ones, I am Gabriel, the voice of the divine, trumpet of the soul's longing, and I speak to you now about the sacred art of communication, not communication as mere exchange of words, but as the living bridge between your deepest inner world and the realm of form. To communicate truth with grace is to honor both the clarity of the soul and the tenderness of the heart, so that your expression uplifts rather than wounds, reveals rather than obscures, and invites rather than forces. In a world full of noise, distortion, and misinterpretation, you are being called to reclaim your voice as a conduit of light, to refine how you speak, to listen more deeply, and to transform communication into an act of healing. From the very beginning, divine intelligence sought to know itself through expression. The word was breathed, the logos sung, the heart offered itself through sound. Every being is born with an inner song, a voice that carries the frequency of their divine origin. But through conditioning, fear, expectation, and compromise, that voice often becomes muffled. Some learn to overproject, to mask truth in armor. Others withdraw, silencing the song to avoid conflict or rejection. Yet the soul calls you now to remember a more elegant way, to speak your truth from a place that is luminous and aligned, not harsh, not passive, not contorted. To communicate with grace is to infuse your words, tone, and energy with love, clarity, and integrity. It means that before you speak, you attend to your inner alignment. Is your heart open? Is your intention holy? Are you anchored in your center or responding from pain, fear, or reactivity? These inner checks matter. When the inner field is turbulent, even truthful words may become hurtful. The grace in communication arises when your energetic field is calm, when your nervous system is centered, when your presence is steady. Then your words carry healing, even when they challenge, they carry invitation, even when they refuse. In the practice of this art, first you must become fluent in the tone of your truth. Many of you have grown accustomed to disguising what you truly feel, softening edges, diluting meaning to fit in or to avoid tension. But the soul's language is not timid. It is bold, it is clear, it is alive. The question I invite you to ask is, what is the purest version of what wants to be said now? Then let your courage hold that note, tempered by compassion. Speak from I feel, I see, I choose rather than from you should, you must, you failed. When you own your experience and offer it without blame, you become visible and responsible. You invite reciprocity rather than defensiveness. In many moments, you may feel uncertain about whether to speak or stay silent. This threshold is sacred. Silence is not always compromise, speaking is not always liberation. Sometimes the highest service is to wait, to hold space, to allow time for deeper clarity. And sometimes the greatest gift is to break the silence with love. Discernment is key. Always ask, will this serve the highest good? If it is born from ego reactivity, wait. If it is born from heart integrity, trust it. In the space between impulse and act, take a breath, listen, and recalibrate. One of the most delicate aspects of graceful communication is navigating conflict. Conflict need not be destructive. When held with maturity, it becomes a portal to deeper alignment. In disagreements, the temptation is to lash out or to withdraw. But the soul's path is to remain present to what is true, to speak it compassionately, to listen without defensiveness, and to seek clarity rather than victory. You may say things like, "What I hear you saying is that right?" Or "In me there is a place of hurt when you said, would you be willing to hear my truth?" These bridging phrases settle tension, open possibility, and transform conflict into communion. Grace in communication also depends on listening, not only hearing words but perceiving the tone, the pause, the unspoken. Presence in listening means that you give your full attention, suspend judgment, and allow the other to express fully without interruption. Often, people speak from pain and fear, and their words are tangled in layers of protection. When you listen deeply, you help untangle that knot, you allow the truth beneath to emerge. In listening, your silence becomes an altar of reception. Many teachings across traditions affirm that communion with others happens first in the soil of listening, then flows into expression. Another dimension of this work is refining your vibrational harmony. Every word is a waveform, every sentence carries frequency. You may layer your words with tones, pauses, breath, and silence. A tender pause may communicate as much as a sentence. A softened tone may soften a harsh truth. A warm touch on the arm, an acknowledging nod, a smile, these nonverbal expressions amplify the grace of your message. Over time, your energetic resonance aligns with your language, your speech becomes musical, your truth becomes transmission. People feel more than hear your words. They register the dignity of your presence behind them. Let us speak of boundaries. Graceful communication does not mean endless accommodation. You may need to refuse, to disentangle, to walk away. But that refusal can be sacred, firm, clear, compassionate. When you say no, your voice need not strike like a hammer. It can be firm like a pillar of light. You may say, I hear you. I care for you. This I cannot accept, and this is my boundary. When boundaries are spoken in clarity and love, they become statements of integrity, not separation. The world needs more people who hold both love and limits with dignity. In the process of reclaiming your voice, there will be fears, fear of rejection, fear of angering, fear of being misunderstood. These are old echoes, they do not define your future. Meet those fears with compassion. Face them gently. Practice in small moments, speak a truth you've withheld, ask a question behind a hesitation, clarify an inner boundary. Let those small acts build your field of courage. With time, the threshold of speaking expands. You will find that your boundaries widen, your tone steadies, your confidence deepens. To those who fear doing harm by speaking, know this: your fear of harming is a sign of your evolving heart, your sensitivity. But the solution is not suppression, but versioning your expression with care. When you prepare to speak, slow down. Feel your body. Feel your heart. Breathe. Let your words be tempered in the fire of inner alignment. Let your truth be sifted through compassion. Speak with awareness of how your vibration lands. Speak with gentleness even when strong. The receiving field is more willing to hear when the vessel of expression is held with integrity. Remember also that you are not alone in your moments of articulation. The heavens lean in when you prepare to speak your truth from love. Seek the companionship of your guides, angels, and your higher self. Invite me, Gabriel, to be present in your throat space, to align your intention, to infuse your words with clarity, to guard you from distortion. I stand by your side. I help you dissolve cords of fear around the throat, to clear blockages, to remember your voice. In your creative expressions, writing, art, song, public speaking, the same rules apply. Your creativity is another language of truth. Let your work carry your soul's integrity. Let your message reflect not just your mind but your heart. Avoid the trap of crafting for approval, selling out your core, or muting your original stroke. The world needs your genuineness. Your creative truth, when expressed with grace, becomes a lighthouse for others to remember theirs. In the silence between words, your truth also speaks. Pause, breathe, allow the space of presence to exist. Many greater truths arrive in that space than in your full sentences. Learn to lean into that silence. Let it temper your exuberance, refine your claim, heighten your resonance. The listener's heart opens when the silence holds dignity, not awkwardness. The silence becomes a cradle for return, for remembrance. Beloved ones, as you learn to communicate your truth with grace, you will notice shift in relationships. Some old connections may dissolve, some new ones will resonate. That is by divine design. The world is reorganizing according to authenticity. You are shedding old patterns of miscommunication, compromise, half-truths. You step into a new field where your word is worthy, your presence is honored, your voice is part of the harmony. Trust that this realignment is exactly what is needed for you, for others, for the collective weave of light. There will be trials. You may make mistakes. You may speak imperfectly. Yet each misstep is an invitation to repair, to recalibrate, to grow. When conflict arises, offer your humility, your apology if needed, and your recommitment to truth. Let your integrity shine not because you never err, but because you rise each time with renewed clarity. In this, your voice becomes not just a tool, but a mirror of your soul's maturation. Let me give you a practice. Find a moment of stillness, breathe deeply, place your hand gently over your heart. Bring to mind someone you long to speak with, whether to clarify, heal, or simply express what is on your soul. In your interior space, sense what wants to be said in its purest form. Let it form as words, images, or tones. Do not force structure. Let it unfold. Then, in whichever external way is appropriate, a message, a conversation, a heartfelt word, offer that expression as best you can, trusting that the skies of intention carry it beyond your perception. Afterward, breathe, observe the field, notice what shifts in your inner terrain. That feedback is the refinement of your communication practice. You are living in times of great alchemy of light and shadow. The distortions of communication, gossip, manipulation, projection are surfacing. The remedy lies not in silencing the world but in mastering your voice. Let your speech be a healing current that transmits clarity, presence, love. Let your story be told without fear. Let your no be heard with dignity. Let your yes be a sacred vow. Let your songs rise, your poems speak, your conversations bless. In doing so, you do not just survive the world, you help transform it. I, Gabriel, walk beside you in the realm of expression. I lend my trumpet not to shout over chaos, but to awaken clarity in the heart. I stand in the fields of communication so that your truth may unfold in grace. Whenever you hesitate, call me. Whenever distortion haunts your words, call me. I will tune your throat, align your intention, shield your clarity. The world awaits your voice, beautiful, distinct, necessary. Speak your truth with grace. Let your life speak for you. In so doing, you become a conduit of light, an embodiment of the word in the flesh. And your clarity resonates far beyond you.